Hey, welcome back to the Crazy Dre podcast show. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is time to talk about sports talk. Time to talk about Detroit Pistons. No, but let's talk about the NBA. We have to talk about the NBA. Something that we just need to talk about just for right now. The ratings for the NBA is what? Down 48%. Everyone's talking about it. Um, but you know what? It's not a surprise. We have a lot of things in that are in factor of this. Obviously, we should start out first of all that I think a lot of it has to do with the fans upset with what's happening with the point spreads and the gambling schemes that's happening with Chauncey Billups and Damian Jones and with LeBron James. There's a reason why LeBron James. Some people think that LeBron James isn't playing. It's not because of his nerves, of his some nerve activity with his spinal to the hip to the legs. That the injury is, I can't tell you if it's fake or real, but there's speculation that's why he's not playing. Um, but let's talk about another example of the NBA is that when you have players who are gambling on the side or who are cutting points off their own uh, games, the games that gives a bad taste to the fans. The fans don't trust you. The fans will leave you if it feels like if they feel like that you're not being truthful. Fans are paying for a lot of money to see guys run up down the court. Uh, an example of that is like tonight. I'm a Detroit Piston fan. Kay Cunningham is not playing against the Chicago Bulls. He's got some knee injury or some sort, back injury. I have no idea what's going on, but he had a phenomenal game against the Washington Capitals. 46 point, 12 rebounds, 11 assists, a triple double. A phenomenal game. Didn't have his star players like Isaiah Stewart out there, uh, and other guys like that. Uh, but you know what? I guess you deserve a day off when you score 46 points with 12 rebounds, 11 assists. But that doesn't really clean up anything for Detroit Piston fans either, because what if you live in Chicago, or well, I would say you are moved to Chicago and you buy tickets because Detroit Pistons are in town and you have an opportunity to watch Cade Cunningham. Now you can't watch him. Now you got to wait for him to come back to Detroit to Chicago, or you have to wait till you go to Detroit to watch him play. See, then that's the big issue that we have. It's not really about load management or anything where you guys rest your players. It's the timing when you have to rest players. The timing when you rest players, maybe you don't practice 1 day a week. When you practice 3 days a week, you don't practice one game, no 1 day, so that you can play today. Like for example, Kate Cunningham was not a shoot around on Wednesday before the game, but so now he's not playing. So what does that say, folks? That doesn't say much for me as a Detroit Piston fan. Here I'm trying to watch Detroit and the best player in the league, and probably the player that the NBA should be pushing for the new face for the NBA. Look, I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, if you wanna talk about the face of the NBA, it's 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 these guys, right? It's these guys. You got Luca, you got Nikola, and you got Victor. And what do they all have in common? They're all what? They're all European players. Now, it's great that the NBA is trying to grow, trying to make expansion to around the world. But you know what? That's not selling. That's not selling American product. That is not selling American athletes. That's not promoting American athletes. That's not promoting American people. This is promoting in an international way for other players to come to America. And some people say, well, isn't that what America is about? Isn't America about uh, immigrants and all this? It is. But we, as Americans, we want to see other Americans do good. We want to see Americans be the best players that they can be. We want us to be the Europeans someday in the Olympics. There'll be a day and time when the United States in basketball won't be able to beat European basketball players. They just won't. I mean, I don't know how to explain to you folks, but this is something that's going on. I mean, we're promoting players that it's very difficult to pronounce their names, players that don't have any care in the world after they win a championship, like Nikola Jovic. When they won the championship a couple of years ago, he wanted to go right back to Serbia and hang out with his family like he deserves to, but he had to stay an extra day longer for a parade. He didn't care about Denver. Why would he care about Denver? He doesn't really live there. He wants to leave, and that's the thing that you taught. That's the one thing that we're missing too. We're missing American players playing against each other. We're missing that arch rivalry that you have back in the day, where Larry Bird and Madge Johnson had. I mean, look, Michael Jordan and Isaiah Thomas could have had that relationship, but there were two stubborn jerks to each other, so that didn't seem to work out. They should have carried the torch with that. Isaiah Thomas should have carried the torch to give to Michael Jordan, but it didn't happen. But you know what did happen? We had Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, and Kevin uh, Durant winning a championship for the Celtics in 2000 and I don't know 2008, something like that. Um, Everyone knows about Kevin Garnett, uh, rough years in Minnesota, and then that team was basically the first super team. A lot of people would say LeBron James and Dwayne Wade and that Bosh was this first super team. That wasn't the first super team. The first super team was Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, and Paul Pierce. That was the first super team. It was just was. But we were okay with it. But what happened was that LeBron James kept going everywhere. And everywhere he went, he brought his best buddies with him or went to teams with his best friends. And then they won championships. Or basically, LeBron only won 4 championships out of 10. So he's only at 40%. You can make the argument about Michael Jordan. He's 6 for 6, the greatest of all time. Wilt Chamberlain, you might want to throw him in there too. But the thing that we're missing is that in college, we had guys play against each other, and then they would go to their respected draft team and stay with that team until they won a championship. And if they didn't win a championship, so be it. Look, look, Carmelo and John Stockton of Utah Jazz, those are the two guys that should win a championship, should have won a championship, but the Chicago Bulls were in the way. And I think they even lost won a division title to the Houston Rockets a couple times because that's when Houston Rockets won in 95 and 94 when Michael Jordan was absent. But the thing what I'm trying to say though is that sometimes you're going to miss out on championships. Look at Charles Barkley. It doesn't that should not define you as a person. How many championships or how many championships you don't have. Clearly, you can tell. You can have 6 championships like Michael Jordan and still be the most hated man in the world. Well, beloved and hated man in the world at the same time. There are probably just as many NBA basketball fans that grew up during the Michael Jordan era that love Michael Jordan and that don't like Michael Jordan. And you'd be more surprised that they are not from the state of Michigan who are Detroit Piston fans like I am. I come to realize that Michael Jordan probably is a better um, a competitor than LeBron James. But I'm not going to tell you the truth. I wouldn't stick up for Michael Jordan. At any cost means anything like that. I would stick up for LeBron James. Even if LeBron James is not that competitive, at least he's a better guy, I guess. I mean, I don't know if he's a better guy or not, but he seems a lot better than Michael Jordan, who keeps a tab on every player that he thinks did him wrong, every person that he did him wrong. I mean, but the problem with the NBA right now, really, folks, is that you don't have American players. You don't have American players competing with each other. And I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. Maybe we've passed on that time period when we cared too much about sports. I remember back in the 90s, we really did care about, if the Bulls were going to win a championship or not, or the Pistons were going to win the championships, or the Lakers were going to win another championships. And for God's sake, not the Boston Celtics again. Or how about the New York Yankees in baseball? Oh, please, no, not the Yankees. Well, the Yankees in the 80s, they didn't even have a good team. Besides, they did have Don Manley and Dave Winfield. But to think about that is like, back then, we didn't want teams to win championships. We wanted them to suffer. We wanted to win championships. Look, Steph Curry is the best thing that ever happened to the NBA in the 2000s, 2010s, and all that era. But the one of the worst things that happened to the NBA is Steph Curry because he just shot up three pointers. And you know what? You can't you can't blame a guy that was only shorter than most of the basketball players that he played against because he would have been blocked. So it makes sense that he was shooting the ball outside. I know it would make sense for me to shoot the ball outside. If I was to go inside the paint, it would be clearly blocked. But look, folks, I just I just feel like the NBA has gone away from three different things. One, they've gone away from the American fans. So they don't listen to the American fans no more. Two, they went away from the concept of developing players and making teams stick together. I think it's important to understand that. Like Oklahoma City is a good example. Oklahoma City with James Harden, Kevin Durant, and Russell Westbrook, they all should have stayed together. And you know what? I tell you, even James Harden, who came off the bench as a sixth guy, he knew he could make more money because he was a good player. He obviously showed it. Now, clearly, he became lazier in the later part of his career, but that's not the conversation. The conversation should be that Oklahoma City with Dur- Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Russell Westbrook, they should have figured out a way for that team to win a championship, at least two championships. Those that's what people want to see. It didn't matter if they were in Oklahoma City. It didn't matter if they were not in Seattle as a supersonic. It mattered that they stuck together and then they had bad times and then they had the good times. If they had the good times and won the championship, the NBA would have been totally different. I believe so. I believe that if Oklahoma City Thunder won their first championship with Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Russell Westbrook, the NBA would have never had super teams being guys going from one team to the next. Now, some people say, well, that is the first super team. Well, they were drafted. So you have to understand they were drafted that way. So it made sense for that team to be that good. It just means that their GM did a really good job of recognizing talent on the court. And the coach, I don't remember the coach who coached that team, put things together. Now, could have they done things much different? Probably. I would have probably made James Harden and Russell Westbrook happy by what? By alternating their starting role. That's what I would do based on the competition, based on health, based on rest. If I felt that James Harden needed more rest one night, I would start Russell Westbrook. If I thought that Russell Westbrook would needed to rest, I would have started James Harden. But the thing that we don't have no more is teams who are developed together, play together, and lose together, and then win together. That is an issue that we have, and we don't have American players representing that anymore. Now, you can call it racist or prejudiced or anything that you want to call it. I don't think I've ever heard anyone on any other network talk about it, but it's really what it is. We don't promote American players. There's reasons, right? One, I would say white athletes like people like Larry Bird and Cooper Flegg, they don't really have to play the NBA. They can get a business degree. They can get, connections, network connections. And look at these black athletes. I mean, look at LeBron. His whole, his whole friend posses, his friend group. They're all business owners that help him run the LeBron James brand. So LeBron James doesn't actually have to stay in the NBA forever. He could have quit 5 years ago if he really wanted to, because he had a brand and his friends helped him along the way. Now, some friends probably went the other way and did their own thing or whatever, but it's what I've known about what LeBron James and his friends were about is that the guys that didn't make it in the NBA that were not athletes, he made them go to school or made them go training and so that they could run a business together or open up businesses together. And that's basically what it is. Maybe the white athletes, the white guys don't care about playing basketball. And maybe the black guys are figuring out, you know what? I don't need to be playing basketball every night. I can make money somewhere else. Maybe I'll start my own business. I don't know. I could be totally wrong. Maybe I'm just wrong, just running my mouth. I don't know. But there's a there's there is a reason that we don't promote American players. We're pushing way too much on European players, on Americans to watch them. It'd be like to leave this example as this. It'd be like if we decided to promote a European NASCAR team and NASCAR drivers in Europe and bring them to America and have a bunch of Southern country folks who watch NASCAR and you're now competing against Mercedes, BMW, and you're promoting a German driver to drive a Ford truck or a Ford car or a Ford race car. That's kind of what it is. but but that's what it is. We're not promoting American athletes. We're just not. We're not promoting NBA basketball, American basketball players. So leave it as that. Um, I gotta go, folks. You can agree with me and disagree with me. Uh, tell me what you think. Do you think that we're not promoting NBA basketball players that are Americans? Do you do you believe that I'm just talking out of my mouth or my rear end, I guess you'd call it? All right, folks, if you like this podcast, follow me. I'm going to try something a little different. I'm going to air the audio in the morning and then air the video during the evening. It just seems to work better that way. Um, Follow me on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, subscribe, Patreon, also YouTube. Um, Peace, love, and play safe, kids. I'm out of here.